Chapter 496, The main character arrives. The whistling breeze of autumn brought an unceasing drizzle of beads of water. 3 ghostly figures silently approached the auto garage where Tang Xiao was in. Shortly after, the 3 figures jumped over the wall and entered the site and appeared before Tang Xiao, who was sitting cross-legged on the roof of an abandoned car. With Tang Xiao's present strength, the slightest sign of disturbance could alert him. He instantly opened his eyes and saw Tai Zhongkui and 2 experts of the everlasting feast hall. "So, how are things going?" Cupping his fists, Tai Zhongkui replied, "It's all done, boss. There are a total of 66 people that were secretly sent to a smuggling cargo ship. We're not particularly familiar with this route as of yet. However, Snakehead said that there hasn't been any inspections conducted in this navigational route in recent years. As long as the ship arrives in the South China Sea, we'll take our special route as always, smoothly sending them to the mines in Africa." Tang Xiao nodded. "Your way of dealing with the matter makes me feel at ease. Anyhow, the reason I called you was for another issue I need you to deal with." "Please tell us," said Tai Zhongkui respectfully. Now that all the forces that came to Star City eyeing my magnificent Tang Corp had all been cleared away, there are still, however, some forces that haven't given up yet. We can expect them to come to Star City in the next few days. So, I will need you to collaborate with the other party to play a good show." "Who exactly is this other party?" asked Tai Zhongkui, confused. "It's the House of Yamamoto from Japan," said Tang Xiao. Killing intent burst from Tai Zhongkui's eyes as he replied in a cold voice, "Boss, why do we have to cooperate with the Yamamoto family? I know this family, and their way of handling things is ruthless, employing all sorts of despicable and unpredictable methods which are virtually impossible to guard against. I have once clashed with them. Though I did kill many of their people, several brothers also lost their lives in their hands. These Yamamoto are indeed not a friendly bunch. But this time, the person who will lead their team to Star City is the young lady of the House of Yamamoto. She's also the future master of Japan's North Star One Blade School. The woman called Kawako Yamamoto, my subordinate." "Kawako Yamamoto?" Tai Zhongkui's expression changed as he quickly said, "I heard about her, boss. She's an outstanding junior of the House of Yamamoto who entered the North Star One Blade School, and is favored by the current master of the North Star One Blade School. A couple of years ago her shadow was seen among assassins who were allegedly involved in more than a dozen sensational assassinations across Europe and South America. She is indeed very formidable. Though she should still be a little lacking compared with you, I'm quite sure that she'll soon catch up. She does have the aptitude for that. So you must work hard in your cultivation apart from performing your duties. Furthermore, I just told you that she's also my subordinate, so you can cast away your worries regarding her loyalty. This time she's coming here following an order, so you must coordinate with her in the show to come." "Please elaborate, boss," said Tai Zhongkui. Tang Xiao slowly explained the plan he had in mind. After having finished with the explanation, he seriously said, "For the sake of having Kawako Yamamoto's status in the House of Yamamoto staying as it is, you must be discreet and do things secretly. I'll give you the list of the people on her team you must remove once they arrive in Star City. However, the others not on the list must not be killed nor seriously injured." "Affirmative," said Tai Zhongkui as he cupped his fists. The morning came as the first wisp of sunlight shined on the earth. The yellowing leaves soon swayed in the midst of the cool breeze. In the courtyard, several flowers that bloomed in autumn sent their faint fragrance in the wind. The air is very good. It's very fresh. The door was pushed open and Kong Xia, who was well dressed, came out through the door. After stretching her hands comfortably, her eyes landed on Tang Xiao, whose hairs were moistened by dew. Tang Xiao floated down, as he smiling said, "It was a bit rainy last night, so the drizzle made the air fresher. Have you had a good sleep? Ready to leave now?" Recalling the romantic scene last night, her extremely beautiful face was painted with a red blush. She nodded, "I rested well. Anyways, did someone from the Everlasting Feast Hall came back last night? Tai Zhongkue was here. Our operation ended successfully, and those who conspired against the magnificent Tang Xiao'er have all been sent away on board of a ship. I'm sure that they will appear in a remote mining area in Africa in a few days. Also, like I told you before, they accomplished this mission without a hitch. They truly are very formidable, praised Kong Xia. Any one of them is stronger than a so-called martial arts grandmaster, to begin with. Besides, their experience abroad has made them a very competent bunch. Last night's mission was nothing but a trivial issue, so I was confident they could do it smoothly. Kong Xia's eyes were somewhat blurred, yet she stayed in her spot and didn't speak again as if she recalling something. What are you thinking about? Asked Tang Xiu. Kong Xia came back to her senses and smilingly said, Boss, I'm kind of imagining 20 years in the future. You're someone with great ideas, as well as great courage and energy. With your wisdom and ability, your vision is something that ordinary people are unable to imagine. I simply do not dare to imagine how powerful you will become 20 years later. Tang Xiu couldn't help laughing. Despite knowing that you're just flattering me, I still feel good hearing it, you know. Anyway, how did you get this idea? From those children, said Kong Xia. Tang Xiu was silent, before he slowly said, I must adopt a lot of homeless children whose aptitudes and character are good. But maybe only a few of them will still be able to follow me when I leave in the future. As long as they are still alive in the future, let alone training them for 20 years, it wouldn't be a problem if I still have to train them for 200 years. Can a human really live to 200 years old? Asked Kong Xia with a curious expression. Tang Xiu let out a mysterious smile and answered, I have seen terrifying people who have lived for 20,000 years or even longer. What you experienced at present is still lacking. Just wait. As long as you cultivate diligently and perform well, I'm sure you can go with me in the future. Where will we go, exactly? Asked Kong Xia quickly. To the place where celestials and immortals reside. All right, let us not speak about this. I'm rather starving right now, so let's have breakfast first. Afterward, I'll drive you over to the company, and I also have other things to handle. Where are you going? Asked Kong Xia with a puzzled expression. Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. Answered Tang Xiu with a smile outlined on the corner of his mouth. At Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. The entrance to the hospital was crowded by streams of people. There, Li Hongji was walking back and forth, with an anxious expression on his face. He looked at his watch once in a while, as Dai Xingyue next to him similarly looked anxious, yet there was a proud expression on her face. President, should I phone Master? Dai Xingyue finally couldn't bear anymore. Li Hongji's expression moved, yet turned slightly awkward. Then, he shook his head and said, I think it won't be necessary. Tang Xiu has given his word that he'd come to our Chinese medical hospital to give medical services. I'm sure he will keep his promise. Let us wait a bit more. Besides, there's half an hour left to the working hours still. I'm sure he will arrive in time. I called Master last night and confirmed that he indeed returned to Star City yesterday. He is probably on the way here, said Dai Xingyue with a smile. Li Hongji felt a bit relieved, yet his eyes kept watching the highways at both ends of the road. Creak. The braking sound of tires sounded near Li Hongji and Dai Xingyue. The driver's window then opened and Tang Xiu poked his head out, asking, President Li Xingyue, what are you two doing outside? Are you waiting for me? Master. Dai Xingyue's eyes lit up, as she called out in pleasant surprise. Surprised and happy, Li Hongji clapped his hands and said, Tang Xiu, you came at last. Anyhow, our hospital is fully crowded today. All of them are patients who have been waiting for you. I'm afraid they will go berserk and eat me alive if you didn't come. Please don't exaggerate things, President Li. All right, I'll park my car first. You two please wait for me in the consultation room, said Tang Xiu with a laugh. Li Hongji hastily said, there's no parking space left in the parking lot, Tang Xiu. Just give your car to the security guards and let them do it. Let us have a chat while walking to the consultation room. Anyhow, I have to tell you something. Your previous consultation room cannot be used anymore due to special reasons. But I've picked up a more spacious consultation room for you and had someone prepare and clean it up. After Tang Xiu got off the car and threw the car keys to a security guard, he curiously asked, special reasons? What special reasons? While pointing to the inside, he said, take a look at the biggest consultation room on the east side of the consultation building. 2 queue lines are going to arrive here soon, and all of them have something in common. That is, they want you to examine them. Also, it's still half an hour away from the doctor's formal work shift. But who knows how long these queues will become in an hour. Tang Xiu looked inside and saw that the 2 lines were already 20 to 30 meters long. His mouth twitched a few times. The number of people in the queues just outside the consultation building already numbered several hundred people. Even if only 1/3 of them wanted to see the doctor, the number would still be over 100 people. Added with the rest in the hallway inside the consultation building. Tang Xiu didn't dare to imagine how long it would take to consult and treat all of them. Presently, I won't be able to finish the examinations today. How about you think of a ways to share these patients with other doctors? Of course, if you really run into patients with difficult diseases, then you can turn them over to me. I also thought about that. Li Hongji forced a smile. But the majority of them come from every part of the country due to their admiration toward you, and also want you to treat them. Some of them have even been staying in our Star City Chinese Medical Hospital for more than a month just to wait for you. After thinking for a while, Tang Xiu gritted his teeth and said, such being the case, let's do it this way then. However, you have to use the time efficiently. You see, there are already a lot of patients in the current queue, so we'll begin closing the queue for patients in this line. If more patients come later, they are not to be scheduled for medical examination today if their condition is not urgent. Otherwise, I may not be able to treat them if I become dead tired today. Chapter 497, Unprecedented Event in History. There was a concern on Li Hongji's face as he said, Tang Xiu, according to my observations, the number of patients already exceeded 200. Are you sure you can finish treating them today? I'm not sure, but the least I can do is try, said Tang Xiu. It will be quite laborious for you, Tang Xiu, Li Hongji nodded. For your medical examinations today, the hospital will provide anything you need, no matter what it is. Tang Xiu only let out a calm smile. What the hospital could provide wouldn't be of a great help to him. Nonetheless, Li Hongji's attitude made him satisfied. After arriving at the largest consultation room on the east side of the consultation building, Tang Xiu took a look at the 100 square meters long consultation room. There was only simple office equipment and treatment equipment aside from the consultation tables and chairs here. In the innermost corner, however, was a place covered with a draper. Without anyone telling him what it was, Tang Xiu could tell that behind it was a sick bed. Presently, you can go take care of your matters. I'll handle things here. After observation, Tang Xiu turned to Li Hongji. As he sent Li Hongji away, a slight smile appeared on his face. He then said to Xingyue, let us do it like previously, Xingyue. Prepare everything in advance, and start the consultation later. Also, there are a lot of patients today. I estimated that we'll probably be busy until evening, so you had better be prepared mentally. Master, let alone being busy till night, even if I get busy for 3 days and 3 nights, I can bear it as long as I can study by your side. Also, I've prepared everything appropriately, so we can start at any time, said Dai Xingyue with a smile. Okay, let's start then. Tang Xiu smiled. Yet Dai Xingyue hastily said, but master, there's still half an hour left to the start of the work hours. Didn't we also wait previously? Tang Xiu wore a serious look and said, "You're my disciple, Xinyue. I don't want you to be shackled by rules and regulations when you give medical services. Working hours are set by people and can be broken by people as well. As a doctor, healing the wounded and rescuing the dying is a matter of unquestionable moral truth and principle. Saving people is akin to fighting fire, so it's best to start early and never delay for even half a second." Upon hearing the speech, Xinyue quickly said, "I understand, master." Tang Xiu nodded, "Go have a look at the last queue number. After you're done with it, come back here and report to me how many patients there are. Also, tell the 4 patients in the front row to come inside when you go out." 10 minutes later, after Tang Xiu had diagnosed the first 4 patients, the total number of patients had also been counted. What made him feel quite relieved was that the number of patients was less than what he imagined, being only 162. Consultation and treatment. Without stopping. However, unknown to Tang Xiu, who was currently busy inside the spacious and bright consultation room, a commotion was raised outside. More and more patients and their families rushed to Star City Chinese Medical Hospital along the passing of the day. A lot of people rushed there after hearing that Tang Xiu was performing examinations. At present, Li Hongji was standing before the window of the president's office watching the sea of people in the large courtyard downstairs. His face turned faintly pale. Although he had expected that many people would come to Chinese Medical Hospital due to Tang Xiu, the young divine doctor that was going to give medical services in October, never once had he imagined that so many people would come. His eyes lingered at the front entrance of the hospital for a while, feeling a bad premonition. Knock, knock. The door to his office was knocked hard. As the door was pushed open, the vice president of the hospital rushed inside and hurriedly spoke, "President, there are too many patients coming to our hospital. Added with their family members, the number of people now exceeds the normal number of visits to our hospital by 10 times. Something major is bound to happen if the situation continues like this." Turning his head with difficulty, Li Hongji looked at the vice president, whose face was full of anxiousness. His lips twitched a few times, as he forced a wry smile and said, "This is a hospital, and those patients are coming here to see a doctor. Can we keep them out? I already know there are too many people. But what can we do since the hospital is already crowded? We have done what we could and even already informed the patients who came later to come back tomorrow, but they keep coming and we can't stop them. Do you want me to send security guards to drive them out?" The vice president argued in a heavy voice, "President, if it's not enough and we can't do anything else, let's call the police. We have too few security guards to maintain order in the current situation. Please ask the local police station to send a few police officers in order to avoid people being stampeded, and any other possible emergencies. They should be able to maintain order." Li Hongji was stunned. It was beyond his imagination that his vice president could present such a proposal. After giving it thought, however, he too felt that it was indeed a good idea. It must be noted that with so many people coming to the hospital, a great calamity would happen should such an incident happen. "I'm afraid the nearby local police station has their hands full already and won't be enough to maintain order. All right, I'll personally contact the city council's leader and ask him to send a large number of policemen to help maintain order. Also, reassign some doctors who have light workloads and call the doctors who are on leave or on vacation. Tell them to help maintain order as well. The public has already recognized our hospital as well as the doctors working here. This is a good thing indeed, but it would be very troublesome if a big incident were to happen in our hospital." "Affirmative, sir. I will do it immediately." The vice president turned around and quickly ran outside. At Star City's Public Security Bureau, Dang Jianmin was walking toward his office in high spirits. He had been having a relaxed time due to the low incidence of criminal cases recently. Though there had been many cases before that were eventually unsolved, that was in the past. Now he was not under tight scrutiny and tremendous pressure because of those cases anymore. Perhaps this time next year I will be working in the provincial-level bureau, no? As Deng Jianmin strode into his office, he took out a cigarette and lit it up out of habit. This joyous idea came to him after taking a deep puff. After all, the provincial bureau's chief accepted his visit, even encouraging him to work more diligently, and saying that he was bound to serve the people later if he went a step further. It's a pity, though. I would have enough merit if the previous cases were solved smoothly. Ring, ring, ring. The stationary phone rang. Deng Jianmin came to his desk, grabbed the microphone and said, "Deng Jianmin speaking. May I know who am I speaking with?" "Chief, the president of Star City Chinese Medical Hospital, Li Hongji, is looking for you. He said that this is an urgent matter. He has already called you, but your phone was off," a respectful voice was heard from the microphone. Deng Jianmin took out his mobile phone and found that it was out of battery. He then immediately said, "I see. I'll call him back later." After hanging up, Deng Jianmin recharged his mobile phone. After turning it on, he dialed Li Hongji's number. "Hello, President Li, are you looking for me?"
Yeah.
"I have something that needs your assistance, Chief Deng. You must help me." Deng Jiangmin was a bit surprised. It was really a rare and precious occasion for Li Hongji to actually have something that needed his assistance. After all, the man's status was quite prominent. A fact that must be noted was that he had been acquainted with Li Hongji for many years, yet he had never been asked for assistance, not even once. After a short time pondering, he smilingly said, "President Li, please tell me what you require my assistance on." With a bitter voice, Li Hongji said, "Bureau Chief Deng, the young divine doctor of our Star City Chinese Medical Hospital, Tang Xiu, has come back to give medical services at our hospital before the 11th holiday. As a result, the patients and their family members came rushing to our hospital, and the number is simply a blast. I'm afraid there would be stampede accidents, as well as troubles created by the patient's family members. So, can you send a group of policemen to help maintain order?" Dumbfounded, it was out of Deng Jianmin's imagination that Li Hongji's request would unexpectedly be this ridiculous. Was it necessary for the police to maintain order in the hospital just because the place was crowded with people? Wasn't this too exaggerated? About that, are you not joking with me, President Li? You need the policemen from our Public Security Bureau to help maintain order for this kind of situation? Even if there are a bit more patients there, it won't be to that extent, right? Chief Deng, the number of patients visiting our Star City Chinese Medical Hospital has increased a lot in the past 1 to 2 months. However, the number of patients and their families today went beyond 10 times that in the past. As of now, not only is the hospital consultation building already crowded with people, even more of them are occupying the courtyard outside. You can send someone to our hospital immediately if you don't believe me. You will understand when you see it. Hesitating due doubtfulness for a short while, Deng Jiangmin then finally nodded, "Such being the case, then so be it. I'll be coming over there with some of my men, and we'll talk again after I've seen the situation." "All right." As the call ended, Deng Jiangmin shook his head and was at a loss whether he had to be amused or vexed. Although he was convinced by Li Hongji due to his conduct and personality, he still couldn't believe that such an exaggerated thing would happen in Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. It was common knowledge that incidents where people got trampled might arise in some major events or activities held in the city. But the patients were going to the hospital to see a doctor. How could it be possible to seal up the entire hospital, anyway? Immediately after, he brought 7 policemen and rushed to Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. When he saw the situation at the Chinese Medical Hospital's entrance, he stared blankly with disbelief filling his eyes. A huge number of people were crowding the entrance, even spilling out to the roads outside and causing a severe traffic congestion. If not for a dozen or more traffic policemen who had already arrived to clear the road, it would have been extremely difficult for the 2 police cars to get there. This scene is similar to those major events in the city. Li Hongji truly said the truth. It seems that the number of policemen I brought won't have any effect at all. Deng Jiangmin made a phone call and took along with him several policemen. He quickly got off and ran toward the hospital's entrance. Even after he arrived near the entrance, it took him and his men 10 minutes before being able to squeeze through the entrance. Yet the situation in the courtyard inside made him even more dumbfounded and shocked. There really were too many people here. Merely inside the range of his vision, there were at least 7,000 people in the entire courtyard outside the hospital. What was more bizarre and ridiculous was that the gaps between vehicles in the parking lot were also full of people. Chapter 498, The Power of an Internet Celebrity. Tian Xiaoming was frustrated. It was depressing to the point of vomiting blood. She was a popular girl, being especially famous on the internet as an internet celeb. Yet now, as she was accompanying her mother to see a doctor today, she was left speechless. For the entirety of the Star City Chinese Medical Hospital was fully filled with a sea of people. And it wasn't even 8 a.m. The most important fact was that the number had not only reduced, but had suddenly increased instead. Mom, come on. Let's leave this place and go to another hospital. There are so many people here, we may not be able to get a number even if we wait for 3 days and 3 nights. Said Tian Xiaoming with a helpless expression while standing in the line nearby the hospital's entrance. No. I heard that the young divine doctor, whose medical skills are extraordinary, has finally come to Star City Chinese Medical Hospital to render his medical services. It will be a pity if we don't get a number after standing in line. Rumor has it that the young divine doctor, Tang Xiu, can diagnose and treat very fast. If we are lucky, maybe we can get on the line today. Zhao Qin said, as even she herself was not sure about it. Nearly in her 50s, she still retained a graceful bearing. Mom, please have a look at the people here. Needless to say that the young divine doctor could treat very fast, but even if he's able to treat a person every 3 to 5 minutes, I'm afraid that our turn will not come today. Just look around, there are so many of them that they look like ants, said Tian Xiaoming helplessly. Let's just wait and see, said Zhao Qin with a forced smile. Tian Xiaoming knew her mother's physical condition. She had a kind of precordium ache that always pained her, yet nobody was able to detect the problem or its condition. It always made her mother worried and uneasy. Since she really wanted that young divine doctor, Tang Xiu, to diagnose and treat her, then she would accompany her herself. As she looked around, Tian Xiaoming sighed inwardly, this Tang Xiu, who is touted as a young divine doctor, is truly amazing. Merely coming to this Chinese medical hospital to provide his medical services, yet so many patients have already recognized and come to see him. He's virtually a model for my generation. If my live broadcast channel was so popular and had so many loyal followers, how good would that be? Suddenly, her expression moved, as an idea surfaced in her mind. The glint in her eyes turned more vivid as she glanced around. Her eyes finally landed on a family of 3 near her, and asked, "Hello, may I ask you something?" The young woman who was hugging her child smilingly replied, "What do you want to ask?" "Are you also here for the young divine doctor?" asked Tian Xiaoming. The young woman nodded, "Of course. I came here to see that young divine doctor for consultation and treatment. My daughter has been in poor health, and the problem is with her kidneys. We have already spent a lot of money and visited many hospitals, yet there has been no cure for her. So when I heard that the young divine doctor can cure my daughter's illness, we rushed from Jingmen Island. And not only that, we have been waiting here for a few days." With eyes turned wide, Tian Xiaoming exclaimed in alarm, "You are from Jingmen Island? And you've been waiting here for several days?"
Yeah.
"Why are you getting excited over this little matter? More than half of the patients here have heard his fame and hail from every part of the country. I even heard that some people have been waiting here for more than a month," said the young woman. Baitum, baitum, baitum. Tian Xiaoming could feel her heart crazily pounding. The shock made her unable to calm down for a long period of time. After a long while, only then did she remember to take her mobile phone out and access her live broadcast channel. Woot! The anchor is unexpectedly online now. That's great. Isn't the broadcast time 8 p.m. every day? Luckily, I got a reminder set up whenever the anchor gets online, or else I would have missed seeing the goddess-like host. The Meng girl is coming online at this hour? That's strange. Where are you now, girl? How could there be so many people around you? Hey, goddess, where exactly are you? What kind of situation are you in now, Meng? Just as Tian Xiaoming appeared on her live channel, the number of people online rose. In a few minutes, the number of followers online her channel had reached more than 4,000 people. After reading the comments, Tian Xiaoming finally coughed softly and said, "Hello, everyone. I broadcast at 8 p.m. every day. But today, I just came across a very big event. This is simply an incredible sight, if I may say, so I want to share it with all of you. Do you see the people around me? This sea of people? I'm now in Shuangqing Province's Star City, at the Chinese Medical Hospital. As of today, a young divine doctor came to render his medical services here, and tens of thousands of people who heard about his fame are now flocking here from every part of the country. Just as I learned about this situation, I was so shocked my heart nearly jumped out. There are too many people here, guys. Some of them come from other regions, and they have arrived in Star City a couple days ago. There are some others who have come a month ago, and have been waiting since just because they want to see that young divine doctor, to get diagnosed and treated by him. This makes me unable to imagine to what degree and how extraordinary that young divine doctor is. Why so many people came to see him and consult their health and get his treatment. Have you ever saw something like this? There's too many patients here to see the doctors, and even the police from the Public Security Bureau came to maintain order. I myself just had a look outside the hospital, and the number of policemen inside and outside the hospital has now reached several hundred at the least. Along with Tian Xiaoming's explanation, the comments section simply exploded. Numerous followers posted their messages and constantly updated the screen. Heavens! Are you not kidding us, young lady Meng? Western medical science is far more powerful and reliable than the traditional Chinese medical knowledge. Star City Chinese Medical Hospital is but only a small player. How could they possibly have such a big reputation? Goddess Meng, is it for real or is it a fake? Is that young divine doctor really that skilled? Is there a chance that he's a swindler or something? Man, that's so unbelievable. I thought it was a major event or something like that. Never thought it to be a hospital. Divine Dr. Tang. I know that young divine doctor. His name is Tang Xiao, the most skilled divine doctor from Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. My family has a relative who suffered from a very troublesome chronic illness, but he has turned for the better because of divine Dr. Tang. Dear Meng, what exactly are you doing in Star City Chinese Medical Hospital? Are you sick or in a bad condition? The comments kept flashing without stopping. Tian Xiaoming found herself somewhat overwhelmed and unable to catch up. However, she still picked some messages with issues she could answer and told them what she knew and thought of. When her followers found out that Tian Xiaoming was accompanying her mother to see the said doctor, comments contained blessings, regards, donation, and rewards kept flashing unceasingly. There were even some local riches, who threw a lot of money in the form of rewards and donations. And quickly, the amount and number rose faster than the total number of her usual monthly live broadcast in the past. Tian Xiaoming was thrilled and excited. Never once had she ever dreamed of earning such a big harvest after half an hour of live broadcast. However, the most unexpected thing was that the website management noticed this particularity because the number of viewers in her live channel had continued to rise, and several local riches had been throwing money away. I'm at the top? It got pinned up? Tian Xiaoming looked at the spot that displayed the number of viewers and followers on the screen of her mobile phone. Seeing as how it kept increasing so dramatically, her mouth was agape. Her shocked expression was so pure and lovely that it only caused the reward hit and donation to turn more frenzied. At the same time, many followers and viewers downloaded the live broadcast to edit it into clips, and then shared the video through various channels. In an instant, a lot of people knew that there was a big event in Star City, and knew that Star City Chinese Medical Hospital had a young miracle-working doctor who possessed superb medical skills that could bring a patient back to life. Among those clips were also some with banners that many people flagged as the cops act as the hospital's escort. This was because a small-timer young anchor broadcasting a live streaming on her small channel, yet it was like a butterfly effect. For the video was unceasingly being shared, forwarded, and constantly being spread out through various channels. At 12 p.m. Tang Xiu was still receiving patients for consultation and treatment. During the whole morning he hardly dared to waste the slightest amount of time. Even so, he could only treat 60 patients in the morning. There were also 2 patients with very troublesome diseases that he had to ask to go to the hospital's inpatient department first. When he ended the day's consultations, he then went to the inpatient department to give them treatment. Please make way. Everyone, please make way. Li Hongji and several other leaders were trying to squeeze into the consultation room. When he saw that Tang Xiu was currently giving acupuncture treatment to a patient inside a separated curtain-closed compartment, he then waited for Tang Xiu to come out. Dr. Tang, it's already noon. Please have a rest and go to the cafeteria to eat something. We still have many patients, let us continue the work to give them treatment again in the afternoon, said Li Hongji. Tang Xiu was silent for a while. He slowly shook his head and said, I'm eating there. Could you ask someone to bring it here, President Li? I will only have a bite before continuing. Li Hongji was taken aback. He forced a wry smile and said, Dr. Tang, work must be alternated with rest, please. Tang Xiu replied with a reluctant expression, I also know that it's necessary to alternate work with rest. But we have too many patients, and if I don't hurry up and use time efficiently, I'm afraid I will be very busy and unable to finish it by tomorrow morning. Squeezing out another forced smile, Li Hongji said, Dr. Tang, even if you want to hurry up, you will probably be unable to finish treating them by tomorrow morning. Outside is. Well, I'm going to tell you, then. There are really too many patients outside. As of now, not only has the hospital's courtyard already full of people, even the areas outside the hospital have already been crowded. The comrades from the Public Security Bureau have dispatched several hundreds of police officers, yet they are barely able to maintain order. The patients said that they won't leave until they can see you. What? Tang Xiu's eyes turned wide, a look of disbelief in his eyes. After a short while, he hurriedly asked, haven't you told them that only the patients who get the number today can get treatment? Didn't you tell them to come back again tomorrow if they can't get a number? Li Hongji forced a wry smile, I already told them. Our hospital's security guards have already broadcasted it a dozen times already, yet they don't want to leave. It's simply useless. I just can't send people to drive them away. Tang Xiu gulped, I can't manage that much either. President Li, send someone to supervise it. Tell them that the treatment will be given to those who have a queue number, and as for those who don't, give them the number according to their line number in the queue today, and tell them to come early tomorrow morning. Remember, the total number distributed to the patients must be the same as today's. All right. Chapter 499, Problems with One's Attitude. The entire day was spent in the consultation room receiving patients. Despite being working fast, there were too many patients, and he couldn't handle more than his limit. At 10 p.m., he sent off all the patients who were still in the queue, yet he was quite helpless since today's treatment was not yet over for him. There were still 6 more patients who needed his treatment. Their treatment would need a lot of time, and they were all waiting in the inpatient department. Are you tired, Xinyue? Tang Xiu got up to stretch himself. He turned to look at the faintly pale Dai Xingyue, whose forehead had thick beads of sweat running down her face.
Yeah.
I'm very tired, master. I'm afraid I'm going to faint if we have to treat a dozen patients more, said Dai Xingyue with a smile. Your physical fitness is very poor, that I know. After this is over, I'll impart you something else that will greatly enhance your physical fitness. Anyhow, I'm going to treat those 6 patients in the inpatient department by myself. As for you, go home and rest. You must still come to work before 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. One must finish what one has started, master. I'm your disciple and assistant, so I must stay by your side to treat all of the patients. Also, what I can gain from studying alongside you for a day is far more than a year of study anywhere else. Fatigue and hardship is no longer able to deter me. You're indeed worthy of being my disciple, praised Tang Xiu. You can bear hardships and heavy workload, as well being hardworking. That's great. After the October holiday ends, ask a leave from the hospital for some time and have a trip with me to Shanghai. What exactly am I gonna do with you in Shanghai, master? Asked Dai Xingyue curiously. I will impart my Chinese medical knowledge to you as far as possible in the next several months. I'm sure that as long as you are diligent and work hard, after studying with me for several months, your level won't be inferior to those who have been immersing themselves in Chinese medical science for dozens of years, though you may not be able to reach my level. Great, that's great. Dai Xingyue's eyes lit up, as she immediately replied in excitement, I'll listen to your arrangement, master. This attitude of yours is very good, but still, it's very late. If you insist on following me to treat the remaining 6 patients, I'm afraid you won't have a good rest tonight, and you will not be in high spirits tomorrow all day long. Just go back home. Take a good relaxing bath, and have a good sleep. I'll be waiting for you here at 8 o'clock in the morning, said Tang Xiu with a faint smile. This, Dai Xingyue was a bit hesitant. But after seeing Tang Xiu's serious expression, she eventually nodded and said, Then, I'm going back home first, master. But after you treat those patients you must also have a good rest, master. Sure thing. Tang Xiu nodded slightly. Following that, he packed up his things, took the medicine box, and walked out of the consultation room. Outside, he saw Li Hongji and several senior executives of the Chinese medical hospitals standing there. What surprised him was that someone was standing beside the hospital's leaders. It was an old acquaintance of his, Deng Jiangmin, the chief of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. What are you people doing here? Asked Tang Xiu with a surprised tone. Li Hongji deeply looked at Tang Xiu and said, Dr. Tang, what you've done today made me speechless, I don't know what to say. It was shocking, touching, as well as moved my heart. Having a divine doctor such as you in the medical society makes me happy and proud at the same time. For that, I thank you. Thank you very much. Looking like a Buddhist monk who was unable to understand what it was all about, Tang Xiu asked in a puzzlement, Did you not make a mistake? What exactly are you thanking me for? As of today, you made me see what miracles meant in the medical profession, said Li Hongji. You've treated 156 patients in just a day, and to those patients, your existence is simply a gospel. I'm thanking you for the gratitude I feel from the bottom of my heart. Though smiling in response, Tang Xiu ignored what he said, I have promised you that I'd come provide medical services. Thus, this is my duty and responsibility, to begin with. Presently, as long as you prevent the cops from arresting me as a bad guy or something, please leave out the ceremony. Stepping forward, Deng Jiangmin smilingly said, Divine Dr. Tang, a good doctor such as you who treats illnesses and saves patients, how could we arrest you? Moreover, it was almost too late for us to protect you. If anything, there might be a misunderstanding between us prior to this. But seeing what you've done today, I can tell that the previous cases truly had no relationship with you whatsoever. As for tomorrow. Tomorrow I will personally lead my men to help maintain order here. It's all in the past. Anyways, I have yet to finish for today. I need to go to the inpatient department. If there isn't anything else, you all can go home earlier. I'm going to treat the last 6 patients, and then go home as well. Dr. Tang, please don't. It's already 10 p.m. If the patients have a troublesome disease, it will take you at least until the early hours. You've gone through such a high workload today, you need to rest as well, quickly said Li Hongji. Rest assured, I'm fine, said Tang Xiu with a smile. Having said that, he hurried to the inpatient department carrying the medicine box. Along the way there, numerous patients and their family members pointed their fingers at Tang Xiu with eyes full of admiration and gratitude. Just like Li Hongji said, when Tang Xiu had finished treating the 6 patients whose conditions were quite troublesome, it was already 12 o'clock. After driving his car and arriving home, he only had time to do a simple washing and then straightly hit the bed. However, he had only slept for 3 hours when he was already up to do a round of cultivation in high spirits until 5 a.m. After washing himself, he took his car and left Southgate town. 5:30. Darkness still engulfed the sky at this time, but Tang Xiu had already arrived at the vicinity of Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. He let out a wry smile when he saw that the hospital's entrance was already crowded. Even though the night had passed, there were this many patients and their family members outside the hospital. It could be imagined that the number of people inside the courtyard was even greater. There are so many people, continuing this way won't do. Tang Xiu parked his car a few hundred meters away from the entrance. After getting off, he walked to a dark corner where he took a cigarette and lit it up. He took a deep puff and silently pondered how to solve the issue. As of now, he had already realized that the strength of an individual was limited. For instance, the number of patients who had come from all over the country was really too many. He couldn't employ a technique to clone himself and spread them out, neither was he able to treat all of them by himself. Should I find a helper? This idea appeared inside Tang Xiu's mind, and he finally made up his mind. However, the number of people skilled in the Chinese medical field he knew of was very few. After carefully and slowly racking up his memories, he recalled the name of Chu Guoxiong, a disciple of a sage doctor whom he had met in Jingmen Island once. Furthermore, he also remembered that Li Hongjin was Chu Guoxiong's senior brother. He immediately took his mobile and contacted Li Hongji, who was still asleep. My junior brother is indeed in Star City, Dr. Tang. He knew the other day that you'd come back from Shanghai to provide medical services at our Chinese medical hospital during the 11th holiday, thus he wanted to visit you. Eventually, he didn't want to disturb you since there were too many patients yesterday. Presently, if it's convenient, can you ask Chu Guoxiong to come to Star City Chinese Medical Hospital this morning? I want him to be my assistant, said Tang Xiu. Surprised and astonished, Li Hongji said, You want my junior brother to be your assistant? It won't be a problem. I'll immediately contact him and ask him to go to Chinese Medical Hospital now and wait for you there. I've already arrived at the hospital. I'm stuck outside the entrance, though. After calling you, I'll have to climb over the wall and begin to receive the patients, said Tang Xiu with a laugh. You're already there? Li Hongji was surprised. He could hardly imagine that Tang Xiu, who had been very busy and spent all day working yesterday, only having rested for 5 hours before returning to the hospital. Such attitude and professionalism deepened his respect toward him.
Yeah,
I'm here already, Tang Xiu laughed. Then I'll get up right now and rush to the hospital. We'll talk more when I get there, said Li Hongji after pondering for a moment. A few minutes later, Tang Xiu appeared at the entrance of the consultation building. As he looked at the crowd, a wry smile painted his face, as he squeezed his way through. Hey, what the hell's up with you? You don't know how to line up behind or something? Amid the too crowded queue, a middle-aged man turned his head to the back as he looked at Tang Xiu and angrily shouted. In an instant, more than a dozen pair of eyes were fixated on Tang Xiu. Squeezing out a forced smile, Tang Xiu replied, "If I were to line up like you, then no one would give the patients consultation and treatment. Everyone, could you please make way? I need to go to the consultation room." "What absurd things are you spitting out, kid? Don't ever think that posing as a doctor will make us make way for you. Just go back in the queue and stay there obediently. Otherwise, everyone will make you look quite good later." "I'm Tang Xiu," said Tang Xiu, creasing his brows. The middle-aged man angrily replied, "I don't give a damn care if you're Tang." "Huh? That's not right. You are Tang, Divine Dr. Tang?" "That's right, I'm him," said Tang Xiu with all seriousness. "If you still want to get treatment, please make way for me." Suddenly, a youth who was 8 meters away loudly called out, "Divine Dr. Tang, it really is you. I saw you yesterday, but I never thought you would come so early today. There's still nearly 2 hours from the start of the doctor's working hours, no?" In a flash, the middle-aged man's expression drastically changed. The anger on his face instantly vanished, replaced by a reverential and fearful expression. He hastily explained, "Divine Dr. Tang, I'm really sorry. I didn't know it was you. Please don't be angry with me. Our family of 3 have all been waiting for you since yesterday until this morning because of your extraordinary medical skills. Therefore, explanations are not needed, since I won't care about it." Tang Xiu waved his hand. "I will do my best to give patients consultation and treatment as long as everyone maintains order in the queue. All right, we can't waste time, so please make way, everyone." With the crowd in front making him a corridor, Tang Xiu entered the consultation room very smoothly. Because the numbers had already been distributed yesterday, Tang Xiu simply tidied up the consultation room and began receiving the patients. About 10 minutes later, at the entrance of outpatient service building, Tian Xiaoming, who was staying in the queue for the purpose of having an interview and helping her mother to line up, sat up drowsily with weariness all over her face. "Hey, who just stepped on me?" The pain transmitted from her feet made Tian Xiaoming immediately sober up and cry out due to the pain. She then looked up and saw that the queue had began to move forward. "I'm sorry, little girl," quickly said a middle-aged man. No longer bothered about her foot, Tian Xiaoming quickly got up and asked, "Uncle, it's still 6:30 a.m. now. How come the queue began to move forward already?" Chapter 500, Hiding Abilities. After the crowded queue moved 5 meters forward, the middle-aged man then said with a smile, "You were asleep, so you didn't see Divine Dr. Tang's arrival. The queue moved forward because 8 patients have already been diagnosed and treated by Dr. Tang. How is this possible? Why did Divine Dr. Tang come so early?" "I heard he left at the early hours last night," Tian Xiaoming said with astonishment. "That's dedication and professionalism. And also the benevolence possessed by a sage doctor. As of yesterday, Divine Dr. Tang diagnosed and treated 166 patients, and today he must also treat the same number of patients. Whether it's his treatment speed, or the effect of his treatment, it's worthy of everyone's admiration." Hearing this, Tian Xiaoming didn't know what to say. Nowadays, the relationship between patients and medical practitioners was quite problematic as numerous issues between doctors and their patients had often been reported. She herself had been to many hospitals and met many doctors, yet never once did she expect to meet such a good doctor in this life.
Yeah.
It's really admirable. Tian Xiaoming couldn't help but sigh. True. It's very admirable. What a good divine doctor. If there are more doctors like Divine Dr. Tang in this world, how good would it be?
Yeah.
It's rare for a doctor to be back to the hospital after only 5 hours of rest. The patients waiting in the queue all expressed their admiration. From their expressions, the keen Tian Xiaoming could see respect, admiration, and various others emotions. "Please move aside. A loud and clear voice was heard. Many people looked toward the back and quickly made way when they saw who the arrivals were. I didn't expect that even the hospital's higher-ups themselves would come so early. It should be because of Divine Dr. Tang, said Tian Xiaoming in a low voice after she saw them. The middle-aged man nodded, but of course. Divine Dr. Tang will only be rendering his medical services for 3 days. The higher-ups of the hospital cannot not attend to Divine Dr. Tang, to begin with. How could things be so exaggerated, uncle? It's simply because the president was affected by Divine Dr. Tang. He was ashamed of resting at home, so he could only choose to come earlier, Tian Xiaoming laughed. In the consultation room. Just as Tang Xiu sent off a patient, he saw Li Hongji coming in with Chu Guoxiong. After several months of not having met him, the man had become thinner. Just as he came closer, the faint scent of medicinal herbs could be smelled from him. It was evident that he had been dealing with medicinal herbs recently. Dr. Tang, I brought my junior brother with me, said Li Hongji with a smiling face. Tang Xiu looked at Chu Guoxiong and said, Chu Guoxiong, you haven't forgotten me, right? Squeezing out a wry smile, Chu Guoxiong said, I may forget who I am, Divine Dr. Tang, but how could I ever forget you? If anything, you've given me a good lesson in Jingmen Island. You made me realize the true meaning that one must never judge others by their appearance, for we also cannot measure an ocean with a bushel. Hence, I apologize for everything that happened before. Let the bygones be bygones. Tang Xiu waved his hand and smilingly said. As practitioners of Chinese medical knowledge, the most important thing for us is to have a broad mind, as well as understand that virtue, goodness, and morality are the way to convey our Tao. I believe President Li has told you why I invited you here, right? How about it? Would you be willing to help me here for 2 days? I don't mind, but I'm afraid that the patients won't take me into account. They have come to Star City from faraway places, and their purpose here is to consult with a certain doctor, said Chu Guoxiong. Actually, it won't be an issue for you if it is not a special case of incurable diseases or something like that, said Tang Xiu with a smile. There are few patients here that contracted incurable diseases. Hence, nearly all of them can be treated by you. With the two of us working together, not only can we treat more patients, I can also relax a little. Of course, if you come across a case that you find difficult to deal with, I will promptly take over the diagnosis. Then I'll respect your arrangement, as well as obey your instructions, said Chu Guoxiong with a nod. Following that, Tang Xiu looked at Li Hongji and smilingly said, President Li, I may have to trouble you to add 2 more consultation tables. Also, please call another 2 assistants. Li Hongji looked vacant, and asked with a puzzled expression, why do you want another 2 consultation tables? Who exactly are the other assistants? As far as I know, this Chinese medical hospital has a senior Chinese doctor surnamed Hu who has good medical skills. When he arrives to work, please tell him to help me. If he comes across any doubts or problems with the incurable diseases during the diagnosis or treatment, tell him that I will personally act, said Tang Xiu. After pondering for a short while, Li Hongji then nodded with a smile, no problem. I'll handle this. However, since the 2 of them are joining you, can you increase the number patients you will treat today? Don't increase the number too much, just 100 people. Tang Xiu nodded and answered. No problem, said Li Hongji with a smile. Anyhow, the queue is very long. Let alone adding another 100 people, even if we add another 500 people, I'm afraid there will still be quite a lot of people left. Shortly after, Li Hongji left the consultation room. Tang Xiu gave a signal to Chu Guoxiong to wait, whereas he continued his consultations. Divine Dr. Tang, you must save my daughter. Gong Likun led a 9-year-old looking girl sitting on a chair in front of the doctor's table, as she looked at Tang Xiu and said with a pleading expression. Tang Xiu motioned the girl to stretch out her wrist. While checking her pulse, he asked, Did you bring her medical records? What is her sickness from the previous examination? Leukemia. Gong Likun put medical records in front of Tang Xiu. She was 40 years old this year. Her husband died in a car accident, leaving her widowed and her daughter orphaned. She was a HRD manager of a foreign capital company with decent salary back then. The family of two had a comfortable life previously, but ever since her daughter was diagnosed with leukemia 6 months ago, she had no choice but resign from her job. Following that, she took her daughter to seek medical treatment from the hospital in Beijing and other big hospitals in Shanghai. However, completely curing leukemia was an almost impossible task. Just as she was preparing to take her daughter to seek medical treatment abroad, she heard that a miracle-working doctor suddenly appeared in Star City Chinese Medical Hospital. Thus, she rushed here with her daughter with hope, and the two had been waiting for more than a week in Star City. Tang Xiu creased his brows slightly. There was a helpless expression in his face. He may be revered as a divine doctor, yet his helplessness was not because he couldn't cure this disease. He may be able to cure some of the more difficult cases that the medical world was yet able to solve until now. But if the matter of him being able to cure these diseases were to be publicized, that would probably draw him quite the trouble. At the side, Chu Guoxiong had a queer expression. He didn't expect that the first case he would see from Tang Xiu's treatment was the thorny and troublesome blood sepsis case. Though his master was also touted as a sage and divine doctor with extraordinary medical skills, yet he himself must go through extreme difficulties to cure leukemia thoroughly. After checking the girl's pulse, as well as using his spiritual sense to examine her condition, Tang Xiu felt quite helpless inside, for the condition of the girl was quite serious. Leukemia is also known as the white blood disease, a kind of disease with a clonal characteristic of malignant hematopoietic stem cells. Its clonal characteristic made the multiplication of leukemia cells out of control, and the crowding that results from such cells blocking the mechanism of the bone marrow produces healthy blood cells. The disease accumulated in the bone marrow then infiltrated other hematopoietic organs, while at the same time suppressing the organ's normal functions to produce healthy blood cells. Tang Xiu got up. He gently touched her lymphatic node and found it enlarged. The girl showed a pained expression when he touched it. "How should I call you?" Tang Xiu looked at Gong Likun and asked. Gong Likun told her name. "Ms. Gong, your daughter's condition is very serious. If you continue to ignore it, I'm afraid she'll only be able to live for half a year at the most. Even if you try to suppress the disease with common medicine, it won't have a significant effect on her. However, I'll give you a prescription of Chinese traditional medicine. You can bring your daughter now to get the medicine, and please give it to her when she's suffering from the pain." The expectation and hope on Gong Likun's face vanished, replaced by grief and unwillingness. After being silent for 10 seconds, she then asked with a somewhat hoarse voice, "Is there really no other means, divine Dr. Tang?" "There is," answered Tang Xiu. Gong Likun's eyes lit up, and she hastily asked, "What is the solution?" "Saying it now wouldn't be appropriate. Just take your daughter home and get her the prescribed medicine I just gave you. Come to the inpatient department tonight, I'll look for you there." "I will talk to you about it in detail then," said Tang Xiu. "I'll leave my mobile number to you, then," said Gong Likun hurriedly. "My daughter is staying in the A area, ward number 9015. We'll be waiting for you there." Tang Xiu sat back in his chair, and then handed over the prescription to Gong Likun, saying, "Give her the medicine according to this prescription once every morning and evening for 2 weeks. "All right," replied Gong Likun quickly. At the side, Chu Guoxiong had a strange expression on his face, as he asked in a whisper, "Divine Dr. Tang, can you really treat this disease?" "There's no guarantee, but I can try," said Tang Xiu. Chu Guoxiong nodded. Although he admired Tang Xiu's courage, he was not optimistic about Tang Xiu's ability to cure leukemia. What he noted was that his master, Gue Jianzhou, was also able to cure leukemia in its early stages. but for the middle and late stages, it couldn't be cured completely despite his outstanding medical skills. He could only guarantee that there would be no recurrence in the short term after the treatment. Afterward, Tang Xiu diagnosed and treated more than a dozen patients. Chu Guoxiong, who had been standing beside him and observing Tang Xiu's unusual consultation and treatment methods, was shocked inwardly. Tang Xiu's treatment methods were particularly unusual, and even he himself had never seen or heard of it. Nevertheless, Tang Xiu's treatment speed, as well as its after effects, made him sincerely convinced, as admiration and worship gradually appeared in his eyes. At 8 o'clock in the morning, after the senior Chinese medical doctor surnamed who had arrived at Star City Chinese Medical Hospital, the old man and Chu Guoxiong joined the consultation and treatment marathon. Although the two men were unable to grasp Tang Xiu's methods, they were genuinely skilled and had mastered their medical skills, nonetheless. Many patients also left satisfied after getting diagnosed and treated by them. However, many patients who came to Star City Chinese Medical Hospital for treatment were patients with incurable diseases, hence the two men encountered a lot of patients with troublesome conditions, and eventually made Tang Xiu solve them.